We are Cactus Wrestling, and today we're going to debate, should riding time be added to high school wrestling?
Okay, so I'd like to see riding time added to high school. So we talked about how some of us may or may not be big fans of riding time, but I think that it's important for the youth and high school guys every year. What's the goal of youth? To kind of build to high school. What's the goal of high school? To build to college. I think having different rules for high school and youth is a bit of a problem. And each year we kind of see the high school scene get a little bit more like the college rule setting with out of bounds and, hair, nails, um, you know, potentially danger points coming soon to high school. I mean, I think that we're a few years off from the college rules now being the high school rules in 5 years.
Yeah.
So one thing I'd like to see add is the riding time. And I kind of talked about this before, but I think riding is a skill that is often you know, important. It's not as important as they don't overemphasize it at the high school level. A lot of guys talk about, you have to be able to just take people down. And then they get to the high school level and the college level, and their top bottom game is not where it should be. They go, what gives? I was a great high school wrestler. I took guys down all the time. And then I would just cut guys neutral. And I know at least one really talented wrestler that didn't even attempt to ride. He would just, walk back to the center, neutral. Okay, take him down. But you can't do that at the top Division I level. Everyone's just as good as you. So the guys you beat up in your local area aren't going to be, nearly as talented. So I think it's important to start to develop those skills then. And if you can't turn them, as some guys can't, it's a skill turning as well. But you could at least work the basics of riding. I think you would get guys, again, more into the top-bottom scene that we're kind of missing still at the college level.
Right.
I think I kind of agree with most of what you're saying. There should be some sort of standard between youth, high school, and college rules. Having differences doesn't really make sense to me. But I have one logistical issue with this, is that you ever go to a high school wrestling match and the clock person just doesn't hit the time? Like, how are you going to teach someone to be able to monitor the clock for riding time? Like, we're getting like 8-year-olds to run the clock. Like, how are they going to be able to keep track of riding time when it's going up and then it goes down and it goes up, and then the refs be like, what's the riding time? I don't know. That's the issue.
That could be definitely a potential disaster.
Yeah. I think that that's the big one that people talk about is, well, who's going to work? Who's going to be our table worker? It's like, well, I have our manager that's like, he just finished smoking a joint in the parking lot. He's, and I had some interesting managers in my day that probably weren't necessarily the best at what they were doing as far as table workers, and I was like, man, I'm really lucky that my coach is also keeping track of the score right now, because I don't think they are. So from that perspective, I totally understand about the not having riding time. But do we want to fault the Pennsylvania state tournament, the NHSCA National Championship, Super 32, Flow Nationals, all these huge wrestling events?
You could start it at those events, and then it could start trickling it down. Like, I feel like if you just made it a requirement right out the gate, it would be, it'd fail, and it would end up reverting back. But if you started doing it at the big time events and slowly trickled, like, okay, I think it would need to be a transition thing. Like, I don't think it could happen and just like, all right, we're implementing the rule this year, and like, I feel like you'd have to slowly get more people on board, especially because you'd need the more experienced table workers that are not children. running the table.
That's what I was gonna say. The events and the people that have the resources to do it, they should do it. Like, at this point, it shouldn't even be a question. Like, it's not gonna. It's not such a crazy concept for an experienced wrestler to grasp if they don't follow college wrestling, and they should, but they should know what like the concept is of, if I ride them a minute I get a point. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Like, I know how to do that. And the kids that are going to these tournaments, like the Flow Nationals and the Fargos, or not Fargo, that's freestyle, but like the national tournaments, they're gonna know what this is anyway. They're the top guys, and they're the ones that are gonna be winning the national championships and All Americans in college. So they should get a head start. It honestly would be a help for college wrestling down the road to have them kind of have experience with the riding time at the high school level.
Yeah.
So I think you guys bring up a great point about starting at like the national levels. I wouldn't say like, hey, backyard JV tournament, let's have this instrumented day one. But
yeah, start at the JV level and work your way up, please.
That's it. But I think, I think back Super 32, you have Anthony Knox versus Bo Bassett. Two guys that are probably going to win national championships in their college careers. I know for a fact that they understand riding time and that they probably implement it in their own practices. I think that would make potentially a huge difference maker, and really emphasizes the mat wrestling that we might not be seeing as much because guys want to wrestle on their feet. And then you wouldn't maybe see these overtime matches because it would really emphasize, I got to get away, I can't just be ridden anymore, because getting ridden actually hurts me instead of just doing nothing. And just like a top guy said, maybe I can't turn him, but I know I'm tough on top. Even if I can't turn him, I'm just going to ride him hard and get that 1 point. So I think that starting at the national levels and then working it down slowly would be great. And then maybe don't put it in at like JV events. Pick on them, but there's a lot of JV guys that are good wrestling. I wrestled with a few of them. I coached a few of them that are wrestled for 4 years, and they still know that a takedown's 2 points. And that's okay. I think that it would be a little bit too confusing to them to be like, well, what do you mean I have to ride for a minute? It's like, we don't have to. You can. It could get you another point.
What do you mean I have to?
So I think that, but just like Jack said, like these top-level tournaments, there's really no reason for them to not have them at this point. Especially, it's not going anywhere in college wrestling. And some of these guys are already leaving high school a year early to do a year in college. It's kind of a gray shirt, red shirt, whatever they're calling it. Where you're a senior in high school and you're just wrestling with your future college team. And, so the sooner they are used to college rules in the most complete sense, the better, in my opinion.
Let's put it to a vote. All in favor for adding riding time at the high school level, put your thumb up. I'm putting thumb up on the exception that you're not doing this at your mom and pop tournaments where you got parents running the clock and they're like, what? National level tournaments for high school should have riding time.
Yep.
Super 32 this past year. I'm not sure if they did this. I kind of think they did. I thought they had riding time at Super 32 this last year. But I don't remember. I don't entirely remember that.
Yeah.
Hey, this could be well on its way before we're even aware of it.
You might be ahead of the curve there, Mike.
That's it. Try to stay ahead.
Thanks for watching. We are Cactus Wrestling, and we'll see you next time on our next video.